Perfect service management from ITIL, from a PeopleCert accredited organization. This is Tom. As a manager at an innovative company, he wants to ensure high availability, as well as instant delivery of replacement parts and immediate customer support. Because customers buy when they are happy with the additional services they receive. But how can he guarantee these and other additional services? During a meeting, Sandra tells him about ITIL. Using this well-known set of global best practices, her service management has quickly and easily been optimized. Whether it's a hotline, which has to be staffed round the clock, or field staff, who have to do on-site repairs or maintenance work. With ITIL, she always has a clear overview of service availability, capacity, security, and continuity. And more importantly, she can even track the value of individual services for the customers, improve it, and account for it as needed. Tom thinks this sounds great, and Sandra is happy to give him the right contact to get started with ITIL, a PeopleCert accredited organization. With many years of experience in training and consulting, offering high-quality ITIL courses and internationally recognized certifications from PeopleCert. PeopleCert is the global leader in certifying IT professionals through innovative testing solutions, including online proctoring across 140 countries. At a training session, Tom finds out all about service management and ITIL, and how he can use established best practice processes to improve his service and customer satisfaction, as well as increase productivity and reduce costs. At last, Tom can benefit from a perfect customer relationship management system and the simplification of his planning, configuration, and delivery services. Even staff scheduling feels like a walk in the park now. Tom is really happy. Thanks to these efficient methods, his customers are satisfied again. It can be so easy to ensure customer loyalty. Why not try it yourself? For more information, contact PeopleCert, PeopleCert accredited organization.
Hello everyone, welcome and thank you for joining the webinar today. My name is Chloe and I'll be your moderator for today's Everything You Need to Know About ITIL. So on today's webinar session, it will be hosted on social media and Facebook, LinkedIn, Global EduLink YouTube channel. So I just want to know, can everyone see the slides and can you hear me? All okay? Just give me a thumbs up if your cameras are on. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so today's lineup is just an introduction. So welcome to the webinar. Let's get to know each other. ITIL for modern day IT managers, Global EduLink, an ideal platform to learn, be the future in the IT service management, and at the end, a question and answer with the facilitator and the career coach. So today we have Ian McDonald as our facilitator and Lisa Howe as our career coach in the session today. So we are just going to do a quick icebreaker, so we can get to know each other. So if you can unmute yourselves on your microphone and just tell us your name, where you're from, and what inspired you to join this webinar. If you don't want to speak, that's absolutely fine. You can just type it in the chat. So just your name and where you're from and what inspired you to join the webinar today. Anyone can go first. Anyone? Okay.
I need to
Kerry.
pick on somebody.
Yeah, I'm going to pick on someone. Oh, Kerry, brilliant. I just got your message. So you're from Nottingham. Oh, cool. Lovely. Thank you for joining us today, Kerry. It's nice to meet you. You can't unmute. Oh, that's fine. Don't worry. Okay, Sky, how about you? Where are you joining us from today? Okay, we'll just move on. Do not worry about it. Okay, so our speaker for today is Ian McDonald. So he is the ITSM consultant and trainer since 2015 in the UK. He has an extensive experience in ITSM beginning since 1995, involved in the creation and delivery of ITIL training materials, consulting with organisations to assist with ITIL adoptions and improvements, and the instructor of roles of ITIL managing professional and ITIL strategic leader. So over to you, Ian.
Okay, let's move the screen forward if I can. Okay, so I think we've got control. There we go. Okay, so yeah, thanks for that, Chloe. So yeah, my name's Ian McDonald and here to sort of guide you through the next sort of few slides or so to give you a bit of a better feel of what ITIL and ITIL4 in particular is all about. So what we're going to cover, so we'll talk about IT service management and ITIL. So what is IT service management and how does ITIL assist us with that challenge of managing today's IT services? We'll look briefly at the evolution of ITIL. So how ITIL has evolved over the years. You might be surprised how old it actually is. Why should organizations invest in and adopt ITIL ways of working? So we'll look at that. And then specifically, we'll move forward to sort of today with ITIL4. So an overview of ITIL4, which is the current sort of, if you like, best practice guidance from ITIL. We'll look at the qualification scheme. I guess the fact you're on this webinar is that you're looking to take your foundation course with a view to gaining a qualification. So we'll look at the qualification scheme because depending on your sort of aspirations, there are different sort of career paths you can take in terms of further ITIL education and qualifications. We'll then look very high level at the foundation course itself and a little bit about the exam for those who've not been in academia for a long time, a bit like me. An exam can feel quite daunting. So we'll give you a bit of an overview, hopefully give you a comfortable feel about the sort of approach and the sort of way of taking the exam as an online exam. And finally, we'll look at sort of why ITIL4 today particularly can help whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever your IT role is, then ITIL4 should be a good investment in your own personal time and commitment to aid and assist whichever sort of route your career ultimately wants to take within IT. Okay. So quickly, IT service management and ITIL. So IT service management, the way I sort of bring this across in terms of what do we mean? Well, you are IT practitioners. You work for what ITIL will call an IT service provider organization. Yeah, whether you're internal to a big corporate organization or maybe a managed service provider, you consider to be an IT service provider because you deliver IT services. Yeah, IT services to consumer organizations that utilize those services to drive their business and be successful in whatever line of business they're in. IT services are pivotal and pretty much, essential now for the modern sort of business. And these services have to be managed. Yeah, they have to be managed in terms of, availability, reliability, performance, quality. They also need to be, improved and enhanced as we look at better ways of delivering maybe greater value through the IT services that we provide. And key to this, of course, are the people. Yeah, the people with the insight, the knowledge and skills of how those services support their sort of consumer, their business areas, the practices and processes that we follow so that we do things in a standard, consistent way. Customers, users like consistency, so we do things in the same way. Yeah, so we give that consistency. And of course, we leverage and exploit sort of tools and technologies, both in terms of delivering those services, but also in terms of how we manage those services. So IT service management, yeah. So where does ITIL fit? Well, ITIL is the worldwide accepted best practice on how to manage IT services, effectively from cradle to grave. So ITIL is best practice guidance on how organizations and how individuals can apply their insight, knowledge, and skills in the best way to manage and improve the IT services that you provide. So a little bit about the history of ITIL. So some of you might be surprised. It's been around, not as long as me, I would suggest, but it's been around a long time, over 30 years. So it isn't a management fad. It's not flavor of the day. It's going to be superseded in a year or two by something else. Yeah, it's here for the long haul. It started in '89, and typically ITIL sort of changes. It gets a fresh lick of paint. It gets that upgrade. Whenever technology or the use of technology changes and how the technology maybe enables the business to do things in a different way. So the original ITIL guidance, which we now sort of refer to as perhaps ITIL version 1, was in the late '80s. And this was a big change in terms of how organizations used IT. Yeah. Prior to this thing coming along called the PC, yeah, the personal computer, prior to that, if you wanted to run IT systems, you ran it on a mainframe, and you had two choices, an IBM mainframe or an ICL mainframe. And if you wanted to run applications, well, you had to write them yourself. You had to, develop code, build, test, and effectively run applications yourself. Okay. And then the PC came along, and the PC then led to the smaller server technologies. And to run applications on these lower service technologies came packages, application packages. So you could actually go out and buy the functionality you needed to support, business processes. Okay, so this was quite a big change, and so to give guidance and to have some standard ways of working as this environment started to change. If you can consider the mainframe, big computer, typically in a data center, quite easy to get your arms around. With the PC, the server technology, all of a sudden PCs and servers are being deployed in business areas. Business areas are going out and buying application packages to support their business process. So to get back some control, that was part of the driver for ITIL, to give some standards, to give some guidance. And that served as well until around about 2000, 2001, which was what we call the dot-com era, when all of a sudden internet technology came around. So commercially, organizations could now offer their customers the ability to sort of transact anytime, any place, anywhere. So online banking, you didn't need to go into a bank, to do a transaction. You could do it on your laptop or PC, wherever you happen to be, providing you had an internet connection and a laptop or PC. There you go. Big change in terms of dependency on the technology. Big change in terms of this true 24/7, 365 sort of world that we now needed to be geared up for. And so what we now call version 2 was very much to support that sort of 24/7, 365, the sort of internet era of IT services. In 2007, ITIL version 3 came around because as the businesses started to exploit and want greater value from its investment in IT, there was a recognition that ITIL needed to perhaps look slightly wider than just running services. ITIL had always said, well, you've got what you've got, how do you best manage it? So now it started to look at a life cycle approach where we look at services very much from what do the business want? What's the business strategy? How can IT services support that? And then when we're clear on what the business need, we go through, process of design, making sure the design meets those expectations of the customer. And then we need to go through detailed transition activity. So we plan and prepare for services to go live. And of course, then once they go live, we've got all the things in place that enable us to run that service. And of course, continual service improvement, a key plank of ITIL, making sure that we look at opportunities to improve the way we work, improve the quality of the services. And again, that served as well until around 2019, which was when ITIL4 was launched. Okay, so that isn't a typo, by the way. We've been calling them version 1, version 2, version 3. We're told now we can't call it version 4, even though it is ITIL4. I think that's a bit of a patsy to the marketing guys, because they basically use the strapline ITIL4, the digital environment, or ITIL4, the new industrial sort of revolution, which is digital technology. Okay, so ITIL was looking a little bit tired in terms of its relevance to the modern IT environment. So it's had a fairly significant revamp to make it appropriate for the modern IT environment, particularly for the use of and the exploitation of, and of course, the increasing reliance and dependency on digital technologies. If you think of it today, the biggest taxi company in the world that doesn't own taxis, Uber, the biggest property management company in the world that doesn't actually own and maintain any property, Airbnb, the biggest fast food company in the world that doesn't actually make pizzas or cook burgers, Just Eat. Just examples of companies that have basically transformed using digital technology to either do their business in a significantly different way, or in some cases, do significantly different business. And that's the power of the digital world, the digital age. And so ITIL has come of age to support organizations that are starting to go down that sort of digital route. Let's move on. So why ITIL? Yeah, well, it's been around a long time, so that's a positive. But why should organizations consider ITIL? Okay, so at a high level, ITIL is based on what we call real world best practice. So yes, some of it is based on experts and people who've got, great ideas on how to do things, but it's also balanced with real examples of organizations that are actually doing this stuff. Okay, so when you start to look at sort of ITIL and ITIL's ways of working, these are sort of proven. Yeah, they're not just concepts or theory. These are proven to work, best practice. It's in the public domain. By that, you don't need to join a club. You don't have to subscribe to some body, some forum to get access to ITIL materials. It's not sort of licensed in that sort of way. If you do a Google search on ITIL for ITIL4 books, you can buy them off Amazon, or I'm sure many other reputable booksellers. Okay, so it's in the public domain. Yeah, it's adaptable to requirements. By that, ITIL isn't written for one particular industry sector. It's not written for a specific set of maybe technical domains. So if you're in financial services, ITIL will work for you. If you're in sort of education, university, with all the demands on IT from students, it works for you. If you're in the health service, it works for you. Retail, etc., it works for you. Whether you're big or small, whichever industry sector you operate in, then ITIL is about how best to manage your IT services, regardless of size or industry sector. It's also scalable. How do you eat the elephant? Yeah, you can start small. You can adopt and adapt ITIL ways of working on a sort of gradual basis. You don't need to, quote, implement ITIL across the whole of the organization. Start small build upon that capability. So ITIL lends itself very nicely to, again, that approach, which for a lot of organizations, is a good way to start the ITIL journey. And probably a last and probably not the major benefit, but it's actually introduced a common lexicon across IT. Yeah. Prior to ITIL, what one organization called an incident, what one organization called a problem, were probably different. So we're talking about incidents, but we're actually meaning different things. So we've now got that sort of, if you like, ITIL glossary of terms, some common lexicon that when we talk with other IT practitioners, maybe different organizations, in maybe suppliers or vendors that we interact with, we're using the same language. So again, one of the sort of the benefits of ITIL ways of working. So why should we look at ITIL4? As I mentioned before, ITIL now reflects the growing importance of the digital business and how the modern IT environment now needs to best support, these emerging sort of digital businesses. And probably the key selling point of ITIL, and I say I won't labor the whole slide, is ITIL4 now embracing new ways of working. Okay, so in the past, ITIL was very sort of quite insular. It worked in a little bit of a silo. It was ITIL and that was it. It didn't really recognize all the other different best practices that typically most modern organizations, IT organizations, are also interested in using. Yeah, with ITIL4, it's opened itself up. It's now recognized that actually ITIL needs to be complementary to and work alongside all these other important best practices. So a lot of the principles of things like lean, agile, DevOps are now embraced positively in terms of how ITIL, uses those to suggest better ways of working across the IT organization. It includes also influences from things like COBIT and SIAM and other best practices, but lean, agile, DevOps probably the sort of typical ones that most organizations will relate to. Okay, so very important. And the other thing, which is, I think, a big change in ITIL4, is that sort of last bullet, which is really encouraging the IT organization to work closely with the, if you like, the consumers of the services you provide, and very much encouraging both parties to work, joint activities within a relationship that focuses on, can we get better value from the services that are being provided? Can we work together for mutual benefit to look at opportunities to improve? Now, does the consumer of your services truly understand the full capability of their IT service provider? Does the IT service provider truly understand, how those services underpin what's important for the organization that uses those services to be successful? Yeah, by coming together, let's focus, let's work together. So that's quite a big change, where typically in the past it was more of an arm's length relationship. We've got an SLA in place, we managed to do the SLA, and that's probably the deal. Now it's much more than just the SLA. It's working together, looking for those opportunities to improve. And again, opening up big opportunities for IT practitioners to exploit their insight, knowledge, skills, expertise to make a real difference to the customers of their services. Okay, so ITIL4, a couple of things on trademarks, because if you're doing ITIL training, you'll come across PeopleCert, you'll come across Axelos. What are they? Where do they fit? Just at very high level. So PeopleCert basically sort of are what I'd call the examination board. They administer the examinations for a number of different best practices, not just ITIL, but certainly all ITIL courses, all ITIL related exams are managed by PeopleCert. So this is the organization you're going to engage with when you look to schedule and book your exam. And these will be the people, the organization that will facilitate the exam, the online exam with yourselves. Okay, PeopleCert, big organization based in Greece, actually. So I'm not sure if we've got any people on the session from Greece, but based in Greece. And they are truly a 24/7, 365 organization. So whichever part of the globe you currently live in, wherever you're taking your exam, there will be a time and a slot that you can select that works for your particular time zone, whichever part of the world you're in. Axelos, you'll see Axelos copyright statements often on slides and publications. Axelos own what we call the intellectual property. So they own the ITIL content. Okay, so they're responsible for the maintenance of ITIL, the development and the future sort of growth of the ITIL sort of, if you like, product set. Okay, so just so you understand where Axelos and PeopleCert fit. So talking of examinations, it's useful to look at the qualification scheme, and in particular, sort of the professional paths that you may have as a practitioner when you look at not just foundation, but further ahead, how you want to advance and enhance your knowledge of ITIL. So foundation is pretty much the gateway, into the qualification scheme. But there are basically two sort of paths you can take. There are two what they call designation levels. So levels where you achieve, if you complete the appropriate courses and the appropriate exams successfully, you achieve a particular designation in the ITIL sort of qualification scheme. One is managing professional. And so you can see there are 4 courses. I won't go through these in particular because we're really interested in foundation. But after foundation, these additional courses that are highlighted here, are things you would need to complete and successfully pass the exam to achieve the designation of managing professional. There's another sort of, if you like, career path, which is perhaps aimed at those more interested in the sort of leadership and management sort of track. Okay, so courses you can see there, 2 courses that need to be completed and exams passed successfully, that then enable you to achieve that designation of strategic leader. And you can see one of the courses, Direct, Plan and Improve, as a sort of a foot in both camps. So if you complete that course, then yes, it helps contribute to managing professional, and it will also contribute, should you wish, towards strategic leader. Okay, so those are the, I suppose, the 2 high-level sort of career paths once you've got the foundation sort of exam successfully passed: practitioner path or a more leadership management path. Okay. So the foundation course structure, high-level objectives of the course. So yeah, quite a heavy slide, but in terms of the high-level structure and the syllabus that's been provided for training courses and examinations to base themselves against, so those 3 sort of high-level sort of, if you like, topics. We look at the key concepts of service management. So, things like, what do we mean by service? What is a service? What is a product? What is service management? Although I've given you a bit of an insight there already. And some other aspects of service management and how we do and work to create value through our services, and how we work with our consumer organization, our business customers, if you like, in terms of better understanding how our services support them and how we can work together to create and add greater value from that investment in IT. Then we look at the key concepts of ITIL, the key concepts of ITIL4 to be specific. So we've got 4 dimensions of service management, the service value system, which is the high-level structure of ITIL4. So what are the things we need to have in place as an IT organization to be successful in managing our IT services? Some recommended ways of working, guiding principles, that we encourage people to follow each time we work, and then the service value chain. I saw a raised hand there from, was it Charlo? Was that for me? Or was it just no? Okay, I'll carry on. And then finally, yeah, the ITIL practices. In previous ITILs, these were referred to as processes, but actually they're more than just processes. A practice is now a combination of people with the insights, skills, and expertise and knowledge to do what they do. It's around the processes that we follow, yeah, to achieve specific objectives, and it's around the tools and technologies we use to help assist us achieve our objectives. So in ITIL4, there are 34 practices. You'll be pleased to know that actually, in terms of foundation, we're only really interested in 15 practices. So we're interested in the purpose of 15 practices, with 7 of those where we go into more detail. Example practices: incident management, problem management, change management, yeah, IT asset management, service configuration management. So the 15 practices most closely related to the day-to-day management of IT services. If you do other courses, then the other practices that are not covered in foundation, of course, they will be explained in the appropriate additional training. Okay, so that's what we need to get through, yeah, in terms of the content around this and the exam questions around it to successfully pass your ITIL4 certification exam. And in terms of the exam format, most of the ITIL exams, whichever course you take, are pretty much of the similar sort of type and duration. Pass marks may differ between different courses, but for foundation, it's multiple choice. Okay, so as part of your training, as part of your becoming familiar with ITIL, then there will be provided sample papers based on, you know, real ITIL exam questions. So you'll get to understand the different types of question. Ultimately, all questions are multiple choice, you know, A, B, C, D. Yeah. And as I always say to students, the answer is looking at you in the face. Yeah. So you ask the question and there are 4 multiple choice answers. Of course, one of them is correct. Yeah. You select the right one. Obviously, you get the mark. In terms of duration, it's 60 minutes. Although if you're taking the examination in a language which is not considered to be your sort of native language or first language, then there is an extra 75 minutes that, an extra 15 minutes that is allocated, and that's usually determined during registration. Okay, so you got 40 questions in 60 minutes. So, you know, people might think, oh, that could be a bit of a challenge in terms of time. Typically, you've got more time than you think, but the sample papers that you can undertake as part of your overall training allow you to effectively sit a mock exam, you know, set the timer, give yourself an hour, do the paper. And in that way, not only will you be able to mark yourself in terms of which ones did I get right, which ones did I get wrong, but also you'll have a sense of time. Okay, so you've got an hour, make use of the hour, yeah, but you will unlikely be pushed for time. Yeah, you should be able to complete those 40 questions with a degree of time left over for any sort of reviews of any questions you weren't quite sure of, etc. Okay, now, a couple of things. The exam is currently supervised. By that, they use the term proctored, but effectively there will be an invigilator. So when you actually set up the exam and you make the connection with people, so there'll be a little, you know, video thumbnail pop up with your invigilator, who will introduce themselves, guide you through the process, go through some initial admin, and then will oversee your exam whilst you take it online. Okay, the reason they're there are for obvious reasons, you know, make sure nobody's in the room helping you, that you're not going through your books, you're not phoning a friend. Yeah, because effectively the exam is what we call closed book. Okay, so the only thing you're allowed to actually bring with you is maybe 2 sheets of blank paper and a pen. Yeah, no course notes, no post-it stickers, no aid memoirs, yeah, no mobile phones. It's just you and the exam, the online screen. And that's the reason for the sort of, if you like, the invigilator or that proctored exam. So I guess we're all keen to know, what do we need to get out of 40 to be successful and pass? Okay, so the pass mark for foundation is 65%. So you've got to get 26 questions out of 40 correct. Okay, now you might think, oh, quite a bit of wriggle room there. Trust me, you have to get 26. If the exam was easy, there'd be no point having it. Okay, so you need to do the study, you need to do the revision, and the focus is that magic number of 26. And again, the training and the sample papers and all the other resources that are provided are there to enhance your chances of being successful at the first pass of your ITIL Foundation exam. Okay, and obviously where and when, well, that's sort of down to you, because it's online. Okay, so you don't need to attend anywhere in particular. So it's online. Again, you'll be given the information to register with PeopleCert, to select and book your exam at a time and date that works for you. Okay, my typical rule of thumb and advice is book the exam no more than 7 to 10 days after the course is completed, or when you've finished your sort of formal sort of training. Yeah, don't leave it too long. Yeah, 7 to 10 days is probably the sweet spot, where you've got a bit of time to do some detailed revision. You've still got things hopefully clear in the mind. Take your exam. Don't leave it too long. Yeah, typically people sometimes set the exam 3 weeks ahead because we've got a lot of time to do revision. Guess what? Life gets in the way. Domestic work life gets in the way, and all of a sudden, all that time you thought you had has suddenly gone. So force yourself, focus on that 7 to 10 days after the exam, after your training is completed. Work back and then do the appropriate levels of revision that you feel is appropriate for you. Okay, so that's a little bit about the exam and the sort of protocol around it. So back to our qualification scheme. Again, the only point I'm going to make here, which I mentioned earlier, is foundation is absolutely key. If you want to progress further with advanced ITIL knowledge, ITIL qualifications, you have to pass foundation. It's a prerequisite. So all those other courses, all those other exams, you can't take them unless you've passed successfully the foundation course. Okay, so that's the focus. Once you've got that under your belt, then of course, as appropriate, then look at what other courses may be appropriate for your particular role and what you're doing in your IT organization at the moment. And finally, oh no, maybe I've gone too quick. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so last slide really on why ITIL4 is good for your career. So future-proof your career with ITIL4. This investment will bode well for you in the future. Again, I don't want to necessarily read out all those bullet points and stuff. The main thing is, remember I said before, ITIL has opened itself up. It recognizes in the modern IT environment there are other best practices that organizations exploit and make use of. Yeah, so Agile, DevOps, Lean, SIAM, COVID, Prince2. So ITIL4 is really for every IT profession, whatever your background. If you work in the IT organization, then ITIL is appropriate for you. So whether your IT role is operations, whether it's service support, whether it's development, IT security, project management, ITIL4 is now applicable and is something you can draw upon to improve your and your team's capabilities. Okay, so that's my final sort of, I suppose, selling point for ITIL4 and the IT career. So with that, I'll hand back to Chloe.
Oh, thank you very much for that, Ian. So we will move on now. Video.
Established in 2012, Global EduLink is a pioneer in online education. We've been there from the beginning. Our experience and expertise have seen us through to the next generation of students. We've been recognized for our exceptional courses and outstanding customer service. Our students, both past and present, have achieved an excellent education at Global EduLink. Our courses are extensive and learners have the opportunity to select from a wide range covering every subject in every field. Our experienced and certified tutors will provide exceptional video training and course materials. Our learners can choose the most convenient and flexible learning method to progress in their academic goals. With a plethora of materials and resources, our learners can rely on Global EduLink to go the distance in providing up-to-date training sessions. We are accredited to recognize awarding organizations who have partnered with us on this journey. Learners will be awarded professional standard qualifications from national and international awarding organizations. What are you waiting for? Join over 480,000 learners and complete your academic education at Global EduLink. Register with us and start taking courses that will give you a new skill, refresh your knowledge, or enable you to pursue a high-paying job in any industry. With the goal to empower, Global EduLink provides learners with a strong foundation to achieve immense growth and great success in the future.
Sorry, I was on mute. So now it's time to learn more about Global EduLink today. So we've got our course advisor Shallow with us, who will be telling you more information all about this. So over to you.
Thanks, Chloe. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our webinar today. And I really hope that you will find this session useful and that it will give you the confidence to start your ITIL course with us. So let me quickly then give you an introduction to Global EduLink. So I'm Shallow, and I'm one of the course advisors at Global EduLink. And if you had contacted us in the past, you have spoken to me, you're one of my team members, or if you're planning to take the course, then yeah, I can certainly guide you through the process that we have. So who are we? Right, and that's the question to be answered. So at Global EduLink, we are an authorized training provider of PeopleCert courses, which includes the ITIL4, Prince2, and Six Sigma. Apart from PeopleCert, we also work with several other awarding bodies, such as the Pearson BTEC, TQ UK, CIPD, and many more. And also just wanted to remind you that we have over 900 courses on our learning platform. These range from project management, people management, teaching, qualifications, healthcare, and also certain hobby-related courses if you're interested in trying out photography or animal care or first aid. And there's a whole range that you can visit our website and browse through. So also to remind you that we do have a learner pool of over 480,000 students and counting. And our students are from around the world because our courses are UK regulated and they're internationally recognized. So we do serve learners from a variety of several other countries as well, and from a variety of backgrounds. So we've been in the learning service industry for over 10 years. So when you sign up with us, you've got that confidence that you are signing up with an experienced training organization there. So just also want to quickly then take you through what benefits that you would receive when you sign up with Global EduLink. So just want to then remind you that one important thing here, when you sign up for a course with us, especially the ITIL4, you can be rest assured that you are getting the official exam and the certification. So you would be receiving the official exam voucher. So there's no doubt about that, because we only work with accredited tutors to make sure that you receive the up-to-date course materials. right? And so apart from that, we provide learning support, which is fully online, and also exam support on all of our courses. So with this particular ITIL4 foundation course, you would be getting 12-month access to the course materials. That's 24/7 access for no extra cost for 365 days. And as it is, it's a fully online program. Also, you would be receiving the official digital manual from PeopleCert. These are for your learning support. And in order to support you with your exams, we provide mock exam support, which is 3 free attempts. And we also conduct a monthly exam preparation webinar, and you would be invited to attend that, where you would go through the exam, a mock exam session with the tutor, and you can ask your questions, and there's support provided to you there. And apart from that, yeah, definitely you're getting the official exam from us, the exam voucher, which is valid for 12 months. So from the time you decide to use it, so it's 12 months validity for the exam voucher. And also we do provide you with free courses as well, which is in relation to the ITIL4. So the choices of courses we have are Scrum and Agile, risk management, and also business improvement related courses. So you could choose from those. And also, in order to help our webinar participants, as it is you've taken the time to come and join us today, we also have discounts that are available for you, and affordable installment plans, which is interest-free. So if you're interested in using the service, or if you want to make sure that you want to spread the cost over about 3 to 4 months, then we can certainly offer that option for you. So please get in touch with us after this session, and I can take you through what are the benefits that we can provide, so that we can make this learning much easier for you, on your pockets as well, right? So that's just a quick update. And I also wanted to quickly give you a tour of our website. So you could find us at www.globaledulink.co.uk, and all our course information is available on this site for you, right? And I'm not sure if there's a video here. There isn't a video. So you could certainly go through the website, and all the awarding bodies that we work with, all our products information is also provided. Oh, there you go. There is a little video there for you. So you could find the range of courses that we currently have, and several other. So you can pick and choose which programs that you're interested in, the topics that's available. Oh, and also our Trustpilot review. So that's again something that you can browse through to be confident that there are the several feedback that we've received, positive feedbacks that we've received from our learners over time. And here's a list of the awarding bodies that we work with. And also you've got the contact details. There's also a chat option here, which you can access and get in touch with our customer support team if you have any questions that you wanted to clarify. So our contact details are also provided for you here. So you can contact us via email. I'm just trying to push over to that. Right, so there's our contact number. This is the course advising team. You could get in touch, and we have also provided a WhatsApp number for you so that you can use this as well. And further on, just after this program, I will be sending you our course information by email, so you can get the up-to-date contact information on that as well. So that's about it from us at Global EduLink. Thanks once again for joining us, and we'd be happy to help you with your learning in the future. Thank you, and hand over to Chloe then. Thank you.
Great, thank you for that. That was great. So now we're going to look at Be the Future in the IT service management profession. So our career coach today is Lisa Howe. So she is a specialist career coach, branding expert, resume writer, and career consultant in the UK. Lisa has received a bachelor's degree in sociology from the University of Sunderland. She has over 20 years of experience in the recruitment and career advice industry, and she's passionate about helping people achieve their professional dreams. So over to you, Lisa.
Okay, thank you. So welcome everyone, and I hope you enjoyed Ian's session, which was really informative about the ITIL qualification. So I'm here to kind of talk about the career paths that you can sort of follow after the ITIL certification. So I work with a lot of IT professionals, and the good thing about the ITIL certification is it provides, effective management of IT-enabled services, which are always rapidly sort of increasing and in demand due to cloud and big data strategies within organizations, which is then sort of hike the demand for a framework, which leads to a demand for ITIL qualified professionals. So, I mean, following the pandemic, the skills gap in the tech industry has increased, which has increased the need for companies to become more sort of, aware of who they have in their workforce and the talent that they need. And also, the pandemic has still sort of increased the growing demand for employees to continue to work from home or have hybrid working, which again has sort of increased the need for more tech within organizations. So all of that means that this qualification is transferable across many different industries, sort of in many different roles. So it is of great value. It's still sought after. And the good news is that it's, a valuable credential. So, and also what is important to understand is that, despite the headlines about layoffs and things like that, there are a lot of opportunities out there for tech professionals. So it's just a case of doing your research and, effectively tailoring your CV and ensuring that you showcase your qualifications. So, moving on. So what does it take? So, for instance, if you were an IT manager, you'd be accountable for supervising the company's IT infrastructure, which includes the network technology, software platforms, data, storage, and IT security. You might be designing the IT management, have oversight of daily implementation. You could also be accountable for maintaining online communication, and have responsibility for hiring, supervising, and training IT employees, which you then draw on your knowledge and all of the skills that you've learned from your certification. The ITIL qualification gives you the ability really to strategize and then meet customer and stakeholder expectations. So career opportunities, the certification would definitely help you advance up the career ladder. But, actually just maintaining a commitment to best practice in an ever-changing environment like the tech industry will demonstrate your positive values to prospective employers, but also your existing employer, which means you could then kind of, negotiate for a salary increase. When job searching, IT job seekers can often work 100% from home. So it means that your opportunities can be expanded in that way, because you can kind of spread your net a little bit wider, because you're not restricted to your location, for instance, because you could work from home. This could also be a career benefit, but talking about career benefits, the labour market is constantly aligning itself with the growing demand for technology. And because of this, there is a sort of scarcity for the right talent. So with more and more organisations adopting the framework, ITIL certified professionals are definitely one of the most sought after candidates in the industry. And as I said, it can improve your career prospects, increase your opportunities, both sort of, within your current situation, but also expand to a different career and help you negotiate a better salary. But also part of the benefits are to be able to see the bigger picture. So the ITIL certification would give you a holistic view of business processes and functions. It'll give you the confidence to see outside of your job role and make a better contribution to your organisation and help it to grow. So career routes, obviously there are job boards, but LinkedIn as well, and then using your network. Now, using your network is the most important aspect of job searching. Talk to other people who are in your target career, for instance, connect with them and ask them to share their experience of how they got into their profession. And as I said, this qualification is transferable across a lot of different sectors. So do your research, follow the companies, have a look at company blogs to see if there are any possible vacancies and also register with particular companies to get any job alerts. So my recommendations: take the opportunity to lead in any particular projects to show what you've learned, and be curious and be, you know, sort of open to learn more about, you know, sort of strategies and how you can improve things within your organization. As I said, build your network of people within your target role, or specifically target companies or industries, and build relationships. So this is called tapping into the hidden job market. The old phrase of "it's not just what you know, but who you know" is still valid these days. And it takes the risk out of a hiring manager's decision on whether or not to hire you, because you're not a stranger anymore. You've built that relationship with people within their company, for instance. And actually participating in a certified training course is a form of networking. So talk to your fellow students. They're also sort of aiming for the same sort of common goal as yourself, and share opportunities and talk about, you know, sort of what opportunities they're following as well. So looking at your CV or resume, make sure it's up to date. It should be a live document, so you should be constantly updating it with any projects that you've been working on or achievements, certainly updated with your new certification to show the value that you bring to a prospective employer. The other reason why achievements are really important for CVs are that they are unique to you, and no one else will have, you know, sort of the same achievements as you. And it shows that you are able to, you know, sort of bring something different outside of your day-to-day duties. Also tailor your CV to every job that you apply to. So when I say about tailoring a CV, it just means that you are analysing the job description and making sure that you are answering the questions that the recruiter is asking for. Ensure that you align the keywords in your sort of skills section, for instance, with what's in the job description. The reason for that is you are kind of aiming your CV towards 3 different audiences, if you like. So there's the applicant tracking software, which is a software that some companies use to automatically scan your CV and compare the contents of your CV with the job description. And if it's a match, then you'll probably be sifted through to the interview stage. And it's important to know that not all CVs fit one job. So you do need to sort of slightly tweak your CV every time you apply to a job. If it lands on a human being's desk, then, you know, sort of it's gone through the sifting process, but then that HR person or recruiter also needs to be able to read your CV and understand that you have definitely applied for that job and you've definitely tailored your CV for that role. So looking at LinkedIn is a really important job searching tool. There are more than 800 million members on LinkedIn now, which include recruiters and hiring managers. It's not only there to sort of ensure that you're visible to recruiters and hiring managers, but also holds a vast amount of information that you can use to help you apply for jobs, help you prepare for interview. You can look people up who you know are going to be on the interview panel. You can connect with them, check the company page, check the company website, and have a look at any posts that they've recently written and talk about them in your interview. It shows that you've done your research. So you have a wealth of information on LinkedIn, which is free and accessible. And again, as I say, networking is a very important part of LinkedIn. As I say, you can build relationships with people in your target company, which could lead to uncovering an opportunity that hasn't even been advertised yet. So it gives you far better odds to build relationships on LinkedIn in your target companies than just applying for lots of jobs that are advertised on job boards that thousands of other people are going to be applying for as well. And also find out from your connections you know, what opportunities might be coming up in the sort of in their company. I mean, to be fair, this time of year it will be a little bit slower, but it's good to sort of be prepared and ready for the new year if you are considering looking for a new job. So looking at interviews, prepare thoroughly for your interview, know the company inside out, use online resources such as LinkedIn, Google, and there's an organization called Glassdoor, which holds a lot of information. Sometimes people will post on there and sort of talk about previous opportunities that they've had, perhaps sort of interview questions that they've had as well. And they'll sometimes sort of put the interview question and also the answer that they gave and how they felt during the interview, for instance. An important thing to remember with interviews as well is it's not a memory test. You don't have to remember everything that you want to talk about, and you don't have to remember possible answers to possible questions. You can have your notes with you, you can have the job description, and you can have your CV to hand in case you need to refer to them. I mean, a good tip is if it's a Zoom interview, for instance, you could have little notes around the screen so that you still are sort of making eye contact, but you know, you've got some little sort of sticky notes, for instance, or something on the screen that can help you. If you are worried perhaps about not fully answering a question, then you can use the STAR system. A STAR is an acronym that stands for situation, task, action, and result. So you can frame your answers, you know, by talking about the situation, what was going on at the time, what was the background. The task would be what was needed to be done, and the action was what you did to resolve that situation, and what the result was, what happened as a result of your action. And try and talk about numbers and metrics. You know, did you save revenue by implementing that strategy or improving that process? Was the time saved, for instance? Did you improve productivity or make everything more efficient? So it's just sort of thinking about those success stories that you talk about in the interview and always relating it back to what the job description is actually asking for. Ensure that you practice talking about the successes that you've had, any projects that you've worked on, and you know, sort of tools and techniques that you've learned that are relevant for the job that you're applying to. Have examples of challenges that you've overcame ready to talk about. Practice some frequently asked questions when you are sort of interested in a particular company. And talk about what drew you to the role, so that you're able to talk through your CV and what is relevant in your skills in comparison with the job that you're applying to. Okay, so so I think that's it really from me, but the best thing to do is to kind of showcase everything you've learned within a course like this. And also ensure that you have a focus in mind whenever you are sort of applying for a new job, for instance. Thank you. So over to you, Chloe.
Thank you, Lisa. So now it's time for some question and answers. So if you do have any questions, please just come off mic and just say the question, or if you feel more comfortable to type it on the chat, that's absolutely fine. So any questions, please ask now and do our best to answer them for you.
Yeah, you could also use the chat to type in the questions if you can't unmute yourself. That's something that you can do. Yeah.
And is anyone considering a career change after they've completed their certification?
or what, let me do, I've got some questions. I'm just going to read that out and we'll see if we can answer that. Yeah. And so the first one is, what are the prerequisites to take the ITIL4 Foundation certification? Is there anything specific that's required?
Is that for me?
Yes, Ian.
Well, there are sort of no real hard and fast prerequisites other than obviously some basic IT awareness. So, you don't have to have been in a particular role for a particular long period of time or had experience of different roles. So obviously people who would be looking to take the course and the exam are from the sort of IT community. So some experience and awareness of IT, although to an extent, ITIL also says, people that haven't got maybe an IT background can also consider, attempting to do foundation and the exam. So hands-on experience, if you like, is not necessarily essential. So I suppose in a roundabout way, what I'm saying there is basically providing you've got some experience of IT and you've been in an IT organization, or you've worked previously in an IT organization, you've got some familiarity with sort of IT and sort of technology. That's probably all you need. There's nothing hard and fast about time spent, time served, or anything like that.
Right. Thanks, Ian. That answers that question. And just to follow up on that as well, there's a question on what certifications can I complete after an ITIL4 Foundation?
Okay, well, I'll explain that one again. Probably worth looking at the qualification scheme we went through before. So at the moment, there are, I say, a number of courses which are part of the managing professional sort of designation, that practitioner route. So create, deliver and support is a course which looks at sort of activities required to create and deliver and support new services. There's high velocity IT, which is for organizations that might be looking to develop and deliver sort of changes very fast and rapidly in terms of development of changes, getting them out into the live environment, supporting them. So what working practices and tools and technologies help with that sort of way of doing things, maybe in a quicker way, high velocity IT. There's drive stakeholder value, DSV, which is looking at sort of how do we make sure, users that take advantage of new services, how do we make sure that, they get the best possible value? How can we make sure that, a company that invests in, a new set of services from a service provider, when we onboard them, how do we ensure we give the best possible value, from those services? And direct, plan and improve, which is very much around sort of direction setting, a little bit around governance, vision statements, mission statements, risk management, the planning, the importance of planning at high level of initiatives, big or small, and quite a big session on continual improvement itself. So those are courses with certifications that you can follow through for the managing professional. And as we also said, there is a leadership and management track, which again includes the direct, plan and improve, but there's also one specifically on digital and IT strategy. Okay, so again, if you're involved in sort of leadership or management roles, looking at sort of future direction of IT and your IT services, then that's probably the track for you. So those are the certifications available after foundation, certainly within the, if you like, the ITIL stable. So I don't know, Shallow, if there's anything else you might want to add to that.
This question, there's a follow-up there, Ian, sorry. So there's also a question as to how would I do a Prince 2 Agile? Is there a connection to the ITIL4 Foundation if I wanted to do a practitioner level course?
Well, there's a relationship, as we mentioned before. ITIL4 has opened itself up to other things that are out there. So it would certainly, it wouldn't hinder, yeah, going down, you know, Agile or Prince 2. Equally, if you've done Prince 2 and Agile, it certainly wouldn't hinder your ability to understand and embrace ITIL. So they are, you know, individual sort of qualifications with specific best practices, you know, for Agile and for Prince, for ITIL. But there is that sort of relationship, if you like, between them now, which will certainly help rather than hinder whichever sort of track you go down, maybe after you've completed a particular course in a particular best practice.
Nice. Thanks, Ian. Yeah, and the next question is actually for me. So this question is about what's offered with the ITIL4 Foundation course at Global EduLink. So, of course, with the ITIL4 Foundation course, it comes as a course plus exam package. So if you sign up for that, you would receive a video lesson that's with access for 12 months. So that covers the important points that you need to learn. And that is a pre-recorded video lesson that you're getting. And with that, you also receive the official digital manual from PeopleCert. So that is for your reference. So it's something that you can use as a reading material while you're also following through the video lesson. And then we offer exam support, which is mock exams for you to time them. So you also get 3 free attempts on that. And then you get the official exam voucher. So that's valid for 12 months. And then you can book your exam when you're ready to take that. So apart from this, we also additionally offer an exam preparation webinar. So that is once you feel you're ready for it, you just want to join in and ask questions, you know, from the tutor, or, you know, participate in a group session and discuss possible answers for a mock exam, then that is also that option available. So we have this scheduled every month. So the information will be on our website, or we can send it to you via email. So this will be the same time, Wednesdays, 6 to 8. So it will be, the dates will be provided to you. So at this moment, we have a date in January, but I don't have the exact date, but it's next session will be in January for the exam prep webinar. So that's what you receive when you sign up with us. Yeah, of course, additionally, you get free courses, you get further discounts once you sign up and once you become a participant of our programs. So that's what's there. So that question is answered. And we're just going to have one question on exam resit options. So how can I purchase the exam receipt? Again, that's a question for me. So you can certainly opt for Take 2. However, you just need to make sure that you purchase this receipt exam option when you purchase the course. So it can't be taken after you've taken your exam and you failed it. So you have to purchase it when you're buying the course. So that option will be enabled if you fail the first attempt. So it has to be taken before. So if you can purchase it from us, we do have it as an exam receipt package, or you can also purchase it from PeopleCert. But again, make sure that you do that before you take the exam. So there is an option for you to add this Take 2 option to your learning portal. So that is also available, right? And that's seems to be the question. And yeah, and what question to join, just to remind you again, the receipt option is available. It's only valid for 6 months. So from the date you fail your exams, you've got 6 months to do the receipt, and after the voucher expires. So that's just a quick reminder as well. Okay, so there's one more question in relation to the exam results. Right. Let's just quickly see. So the exam results, again, how soon will I get the exam results? Now, I'm just going to answer this, and please correct me. So again, so you get the preliminary results soon after the exam is completed, but the official result will be sent to you within 2 business days. And that's from PeopleCert.
Yeah, well, just add to that. Yeah, so when you're doing it as an online exam, literally when you press your submit button, you know, the trepidation, have I passed, have I failed? As soon as you press your submit button, obviously you've completed the 40 questions, and it will respond literally within a few seconds with what they call an indicative result. Okay, I've never seen an indicative result change. but it's not quote official. But that indicative result, whether you've passed or failed, it'll give you a score, and obviously if it's 26 and above, you've passed. Okay, but it is couched as indicative. I think the reason for that is because it's a proctored exam. I think they reserve the right to scrutinize if the invigilator had any suspicions that there may have been, things at play. The behavior of the student looked a bit sort of erratic. We kept looking away, turning round, looking down, looking up. If there was anything going on, and I think they reserve the right to sort of, I suppose, scrutinize the sort of video recording of the proctored exam. But assuming we're all, good students and we give it our best shot, usually within 48 hours, you then get a confirmation email which confirms your results, which hopefully is a success. Either way, you can click on a link back to your PeopleCert account that you'll have created when registering for the exam. And if you've passed, you can have access to your certificate. That certificate will be there forever and a day in PeopleCert land. But download it, put it on your own file store, print it off, stick it on the wall, whatever. So you've got your own sort of copy of it, but it will be there within PeopleCert forever and a day. Okay. And also it will give you a breakdown of your scores. Okay, not you got question 1 right and you got question 2 wrong, but remember when I was talking about the high level structure of the ITIL4 foundation course, it will say what percentage of marks did you get correct, for example, with practices, what percentage of marks did you get correct with the ITIL4 concepts, etc. So if you were unsuccessful, then it may indicate where you've got a particular weak spot, which might be, an area to refocus on if you're going to, as Charlo explained earlier, if you're going to do that resit, then you've got a little bit of a steer in terms of where you maybe lost marks, which were obviously significant in not meeting the 26. Okay, so sorry, Charlo, but just a little bit of expansion on that. Yeah.
Thank you, Ian. That explains clearly. So we've got one other question. So once you pass the exam, do you appear on the Excelos website as a registered ITIL individual?
Is that for me?
Yes, Ian.
Yeah.
So is that?
Yeah. So I think it goes by the name of the successful candidate register, or something similar to that. So a couple of things really. One, because it's information about you, then it can't just be posted on there without your approval. So I think, and it's a bit since I've done this, so just maybe check it out. I think when you're registering for the exam, I think there is a tick box which says, if you are successful, are you happy to be added to the register? So I guess that covers sort of data protection type angles. Okay, so I think you can elect to be placed on the register if you are successful during registration. That used to be the case. I've not heard it's changed, but maybe just double check that. But that would be obviously, in terms of data protection, a necessary step rather than your name just appearing without your sort of a permission or approval. But yes, that successful candidate register still exists and is out there being maintained through PeopleCert and Excelos.
Perfect. That answers, Ian. We've got one question. I think it might relate to Lisa. So this is again in relation to if I'm switching careers and how just by doing the ITIL4 foundation, would that guarantee a job? That's the question there.
No, it wouldn't guarantee a job. But as I said, sort of, if there's a particular job that you are going for, just look at the job description and ensure that you have the skill set that matches, sort of what they're asking for in the job. Do your research, reach out to people who are already in that career as well, and find out how they sort of reach their point along their path. because, you know, people will share that information and they will help you along with that. So it's important to sort of reach out to individuals that's in that kind of career and find out what you would need to do to fill that skill gap. But yeah, it wouldn't guarantee a job, but it would certainly help you on your way.
Yes. Thank you, Lisa. Those seems to be all the questions. I think we have Hassan. Anything that you'd like to clarify, Hassan? Any questions that you might have? Seems like, yeah. Looks like there's no further questions, Ian and Lisa.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Ian and Lisa and Shallow, for that, and thanks all for joining. Just to let you know, this was recorded, so you will get a video link so you can watch it in the future. But feel free to contact us via our contact details if you're interested and you want to know more. But other than that, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Nice,
Okay,
perfect.
thank you.
Thank you
Cheers.
very much.
Bye now.
And bye. Thank you.